RP X, RP Peep, RP Mac. You ain't having no relax. This shit got me tearing up.
What's going on, y'all? I'm Jerry. Today I'm about to react to 6 WWE wrestlers fired immediately after a match. This video is about WrestleMania. So I can't think of 6 wrestlers that got fired. That's pretty messed up. They got fired right after their match though, because I remember hearing about wrestlers getting fired. Like I don't think Kurt Angle was one of them. He might be. Damn, I can't think of nobody. I know Samoa Joe, but he didn't wrestle. Ruby Riott just recently got fired after her match. So let's check the video out, man. I'm talking too much.
There is a possibility that a superstar can have a match in WWE that irritates WWE Chairman Vince McMahon so much that he decides to fire them. Believe it or not, this does happen and has happened a number of times throughout WWE history. Now, the reason for the firings is always different. Sometimes a superstar can go off script and break PG guidelines.
King Kennedy. King Kennedy is one of them.
Has no choice
I just thought about it.
The superstar go. Or the superstar's opponent may just so happen to be one of the top stars in the company, and that top star may complain about their opponent directly to Vince, resulting in Vince firing them on the spot. But which wrestlers were they? Well, join us now as WrestleMania looks at 6 WWE superstars who were fired immediately after a match. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists.
Okay, WrestleMania. Hey.
Number
Eugene.
6, Eugene. Eugene was one of the most controversial characters WWE had ever created. Eugene, in essence, was a superstar who had learning difficulties, and as a result, this made him a target for WWE's heels. And even though the presentation of the Eugene character has aged quite terribly, this didn't stop WWE in attempting to bring back the character in 2009. WWE would re-sign Eugene with the aim of bringing him back to television once they found an appropriate storyline. The storyline they decided on was to book Eugene in a contract on a pole match versus the Calgary Kid, who would later be revealed to be The Miz. According to Eugene himself, Vince McMahon absolutely hated the way he looked in the match. Eugene stated that Vince had a major issue with his weight gain and that nobody's going to want to see fat old Eugene, and as a result, he was fired immediately after his match.
You could have told him that he needed to lose some weight.
Cain Velasquez.
He probably would have worked out better.
Was a complete
and he'd been on the road a lot more
on all accounts.
Being able to lose
the
weight
issue started right after his
match.
debut night in WWE, as Kane would interrupt Brock Lesnar following Lesnar defeating Kofi Kingston
I hated
to win
that
the
shit
WWE
so bad.
title on the debut edition of SmackDown on Fox. This annoyed a lot of fans who felt like fan favorite Kofi was being pushed aside in favor of a Kane versus Brock feud.
He was beating everybody back in 2019 when he was WWE champion. So the one person he lost to was Brock Lesnar in a 4-second match.
One match during his WWE run, and it was so underwhelming that WWE decided to never use him again following that match, and would be released as part of 2020's budget cuts. Kane would face Brock Lesnar at the Crown Jewel pay-per-view, and it would last just over a minute before Kane tapped out. Poor crowd reactions combined with a terribly received debut match gave them no choice in the matter. There were talks that the WWE may have brought Kane back for a Royal Rumble appearance. However, there were reports at the time that Kane was rather vocal that WWE planned to do this, so they pulled any plans on bringing him back into the mix. Number 4, Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle is an interesting addition to this list, as in the case of Angle, instead of being directly fired shortly following a match with Sabu on ECW in 2006, Angle went directly to Vince McMahon and requested that Vince fire him. Angle was in immense pain with nagging injuries.
That was a good reason, because Kurt was such a professional. He didn't want to hurt his opponents.
Naturally left a lot of fans disappointed. May not have known what was going on behind
never know what would have
happened
happened if he would continue that painkiller addiction.
actually released an official statement commenting on Angle's release back in 2006.
He probably was drinking heavy and everything.
It's unfortunate that Kurt was
pain.
released, and it's really unfortunate for the WWE fans who, for a while at least, won't see Angle in action. Angle is a consummate professional. Obviously, he's a great athlete, and he's the only Olympic gold medalist in WWE history. Not to have Kurt with us is really unfortunate all the way around, but circumstances were such that Kurt should have been and was granted his release. In relation to what Angle thought about his release, on his podcast, he recently revealed,
I was in bad shape. I had a lot of injuries. At one particular time, I had the neck injury, the shoulder, abdominal. I tore an abdominal muscle, a groin muscle, a hamstring. This is all at the same time. I was in really bad shape, and the painkiller problem wasn't getting any better. So I was in a state of turmoil, and even my relationship with Vince started dwindling, and it was getting more erratic. And I was, calling him, leaving him messages, threats, and I just fell out of control. I was in a bad point in my life.
Number 3, Mr. Kennedy. During a WWE house show in summer of 2008, Mr. Kennedy dislocated his shoulder in a match against Shelton Benjamin. This would put Kennedy out of action for a total of 10 months, and Kennedy would make his huge return in May of 2009 as part of a 10-man tag team. This just so happened to be Kennedy's last match ever for the WWE.
They had like a different Lakers
back suplex on Randy Orton, and this absolutely enraged Orton, who proceeded to complain to WWE management immediately after the match, claiming that Kennedy was unsafe and that he didn't want to work with him. Kennedy would state in 2009 that Randy jumped really, really hard. In wrestling, it's give and take. It was a matter of either I drop him on his head or I help him through this. His neck never even touched the mat, which makes me wonder why he even went to the trainer's room to get his neck taped up. He was so injured that he went on to wrestle 3 nights in Mexico. Kennedy's comments once again enraged Orton, who went on a message board to respond to Kennedy. Orton would state that Kennedy did indeed drop him on his head, and that he did indeed go to WWE management to complain. A lot of fans jumped to Kennedy's defense when Orton decided to leave yet another message on the message board involving Kennedy's wife. Orton would state, "I honestly hope for his wife's sake that he can find something else he's marginally
I don't know how he
good
is now,
at
but back then,
I know he really
there was
wants
a lot
to
of stories that
entertain
came across
people
that he was an
like him,
asshole
given
to a lot of
needed.
people.
According to Kennedy, it wasn't just Orton who complained. WWE's top star John Cena also went to WWE management to side with Orton.
The sooner he's out of a job, the better.
This would ultimately leave Vince no choice but to release Kennedy from his WWE contract.
Sad.
Number 2, Brad Maddox. Brad Maddox is most well known to WWE fans for his time spent serving as the general manager of Raw between 2013 and 14. Following his rather forgettable stint as the authority figure of WWE's premier show, Maddox would return to the ring, mainly working dark and live event matches. However, in November 2015, Maddox would be immediately fired from WWE after he referred to the crowd as cocky pricks during a pre-match promo for a dark match. Due to WWE being a PG presentation, Vince reportedly hated the promo and made the decision to immediately fire him.
Now get out of my ring!
A lot of fans called Vince out as just a few months later he would drop an F-bomb live on television. Fans believed it was incredibly hypocritical for Vince to fire someone for cursing at a show, then doing the exact same thing himself just a short time afterwards. And number 1, The Ultimate Warrior. The Ultimate Warrior was without a doubt one of the WWE's biggest stars ever. However, he was notoriously difficult to deal with, and his behavior in relation to his match at 1991 SummerSlam pay-per-view is a clear indication of this. As 1 month before SummerSlam, Warrior would write a letter to Vince threatening to no-show the pay-per-view unless he was paid over $500,000 that was apparently owed to him. This left Vince in a difficult position as Warrior was supposed to be in the main event of the show, so Vince had no choice but to pay him the hefty sum. Vince apparently informed Hogan of Warrior's threat, and Hogan actually suggested they resolve things in a physical manner, but Vince refused this approach and stated that there was no other way than Warrior's way. Vince would ultimately get the last laugh though, as immediately after Warrior came through the curtain at SummerSlam, he would be fired. In the official letter that Vince would hand to the Warrior, it would state that you threatened to stay at home, thereby not even appearing at Titan's major summer pay-per-view event, SummerSlam. I had no choice but to accede to your exorbitant demands. This was a serious mistake on your part. But there you have it, folks.
He did bring that on himself.
Fired immediately after a match. Do you think the firing was justified? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.
Alright, y'all. Some of these reasons that the wrestlers were fired were real petty, bruh. It was like the Kennedy and Orton situation. If Kennedy said he'd never dropped Orton on his neck, and I think Orton kind of personally disliked Kennedy, and he just had to find a reason to get rid of him. And I don't know what John Cena problem was, but Kennedy was a great wrestler in WWE and great on the mic as well. So he could have definitely been WWE champion. I think they were looking at him to win the Money in the Bank match, I think in 2009. But he ended up getting suspended like right before the pay-per-view, and cost him his whole little push that they were about to give him. But that was real petty. Some of those reasons were real petty in this video. But anyway, thank y'all for watching me. I love y'all. Peace.